Hola, mis compañeros y amigos. Me llamo Emiliano Zapata. Today I come to talk to you of reform. But first, I'd like to remind you of what has brought us here. We sent our family members and we went ourselves to fight for a revolution that has put our current president, President Madero, in power on the promises of land reform that we may all have a shot to make a living for ourselves and for our families, a right to work the land that we fought so hard to earn from Los Científicos and the Diaz regime. Up to this point, President Madero has not followed through with those promises. While we've seen changes in effective suffrage, I hope that he and his party will stand with me on the following proposed reforms. Ricardo Flores Magón says in his work Class Struggles that the poor class, in virtue of finding material wealth monopolized by the rich, is forced to depend on the rich. Let us let that statement fade, so that each man may have equal rights to earn what he needs to support himself and his family. Now, myself and General Orozco have decided to lay down arms and halt our revolution on the promise that President Madero is willing to look forward to future reforms that actually redistribute land. Unfortunately, his current Secretary of Finance seeks to only repeal the bare minimum of the rules that keep feudal lords and hacienda owners in charge. This is not enough and seems like simply a loophole through which to secure foreign investment and allow those in power to remain there. What I propose is a revised combination of the agrarian law and the Plan de Ayala, which I proposed a few years ago. I believe this is the most surefire way to renovate our land structure for the betterment of all. Now, this plan is broken down in detail in the attached document, but I want to give you a brief overview. First, in order to obtain reform, we have to establish a department to which to oversee it. So I propose the election of a Secretary of Agriculture and Development and the formation of a department around her in order to oversee the enactment of the following reforms. I believe this also allows President Madero and his cousin Ernesto Madero to distance themselves from these reforms so that there is no personal conflict. Regarding the fields, timber, and waters, which landlords, los científicos, and other feudal bosses have taken from pueblos, ranchos, and citizens, I say that those who have titles corresponding to those lands, dating before 1856, should be returned those lands immediately. Additionally, those who have monopolized the above stated resources must turn over 1/3 of those resources to the government so that they may be distributed to those poorest of Mexicans who have nothing but the land they walk on to call their own, that they may form a family and pursue the economic benefit of owning land and cultivating it. Those who do not agree to this will have all land removed by the government and distributed to those who seek to form a new life and to those who lost family during the first revolution and those who had family killed by the murderous General Huerta, who is somehow still in his position of Secretary of War. Now, you may be wondering, how will we know how much land to give to each man? If you look at the agrarian law, I've broken it down, and you can also see it specifically in this reform proposal in the attached document. Each citizen should have the amount of land needed to support himself and his family. There is no need for a monopolization of that land to benefit the elite and the rich and to leave the common man behind. Now, this is something that will be overseen by the Secretary of Agriculture and Development, composed of surveyors, engineers, and other experts in order to determine how to divide up the land and to do so properly and effectively. There are a few other points which I hope you will read through that I wish to have passed and ratified into our Constitution. But what I want to end with is this. A new Mexico is right at our fingertips. I ask that we bravely enter this new time. And I ask that President Madero and his cabinet and supporters of his party join General Orozco and I by voting on this groundbreaking piece of legislation. To my indigenous friends and to the hacienda workers who have been cheated for years and generations, now is the time to stand up. If we fight today for the equality of all, tomorrow we may yet enjoy the fruits of change. Land reform is needed. Let the words of Ricardo Flores Magón fade away. Viva un México Libre. Thank you.